You know well that the first 5 chapters of Chandogya Upanishad deal with various upasanas. The last 3 chapters, that is 6, 7 and 8, unfold the Brahma Vidya. Chapter 6 of Chandogya contains the teaching of Udalaka Aruni to his own dear son Shvetaketu, wherein our true nature, that is Atma, is revealed through the Mahavakya Tattvam Asi. 7th chapter of Chandogya comprises Narada's teaching to Sanat Kumara. It is called Bhuma Vidya. Bhuma is limitless Brahman in contrast to Alpam, that is limited. We have already studied these 2 chapters in terms of Shvetaketu Vidya Prakasha and Sanat Kumara Vidya Prakasha in Anubhuti Prakasha. The last and the 8th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad has the teaching of Adhyatma Vidya by Prajapati to Indra and Virochana. But the chapter begins with a Sagunapara Upasana called Dahara Vidya. Since a mumukshu who has not got a fully prepared antakarana, that is, who is a manda buddhi, is unable to cognize Brahma directly, means for such a person sakshatkara of Brahma is not possible. To help such mumukshu, Dahara Vidya is recommended in the Upanishad. The first mantra in the 8th chapter of Chandogya, first section, starts like this. Atha yadidam asmin brahmapure daharam pundarikam veshma daharaha asmin antarakashaha tasmin yad antaha tad anveshtavyam tadvava vijidnyasitavyam. Asmin brahmapure. Asmin brahmapure means in this. What is that in this? Asmin vidyadhikari. This mumukshu who is eligible or who is getting ready, who is eligible to gain the Brahma Vidya or who is preparing himself to gain the Brahma Vidya. So Asmin Vidyadhikarini, who is adhikari to gain Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. Asmin, there is a Brahmapure. What is this Brahmapura? Brahmapura is Sharira. The Sharira wherein the Brahma abides. Of course, Brahma is all-pervasive, but the knowledge has to be gained with reference to our own embodiment, and therefore this Sharira of ours is called as Brahmanaha Parasya Puram, Parasya Brahmanaha. The Parabrahma that is there, its Pura, a city as it were. So Brahmapure Sharire Yadidam, whatever this, what is it? Daharam Pundarikam Veshma. Daharam literally means Alpam, a small one. So what is a small one? Pundarikam Veshma. Veshma is a place or a house. Pundarika is lotus, means Pundarikam Veshma means a lotus-like place or a house as it were. So in that means it refers to Hridaya, our Antakarana, which abides in our heart, Hridaya, So therefore Pundarikam Veshma refers to Hridaya, the heart. Therein Asmin, in that Hridaya, Daharaha Antarakashaha. See, Daharaha, again Dahara has come. What is this? Alpataraha. See, in the Brahmapura, Sharira called Brahmapura, which is bigger, in that the Daharam Pundarikam Veshma, a lotus-like place, a house, that is what is called Hridaya is that, which is supposed to be, which has to be smaller than Brahmapura. In that means whatever that is there, it should be still small, smaller than the Hridaya. So therefore, Daharaha Alpataraha. So what is it? Antarakashaha. So whatever that is, Akasha inside. Now Akasha generally we mean space. Now Akasha word is also used for Brahma. So therefore here Antarakashaha refers to, that is Swaprabha Brahma. The Brahma which is Swaprabha means Swaprakasha, Swaprabha, Swaprakasha, self-luminous, the verily knowledge principle. So Swaprabha Brahma. But of course, not simply Brahma here, but here the Brahma conditioned by what is called as Daharam Pundarikam Veshma. In short, Brahma conditioned by our Hridaya Antakarana, the Upadhi is there. So yad antaha, tasmin yad tasmin antaha, that Antarakasha which is within that, that is Hridaya Antakarana, that Dahara Pundarikam Veshma. What is to be done now? Tad, that one. Anveshtavyam. Anveshtavyam, it is to be sought. It is to be investigated into. It has to be discovered. That is why Tadvava, verily, without fail, certainly each and every mumukshu, what he should do? Vijidnyasitavyam. Vijidnyasitavyam, should gain the knowledge, he should gain the direct knowledge. Vijidnyasitavyam. How means? Sakshatkaraniyam. It's sakshatkara, it's direct cognition one has to gain. How? Of course, afterwards it will be seen. Guruvashraya Shravanadi Upayai. So seek a guru, seek to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana as guided by the Shruti, and by such means, having investigated into that Brahma should be directly cognized. So then the Upasana, this Dahara Upasana, where Sagunatva is involved, not Nirguna Brahma as such. So there Antaha Tad Anveshtavyam is there. Antaha, to begin with, Upasana starts with Sagunatva, but that Antaha is within, which indicates discarding the Upadhi. So Upasana is done with respect to the Upadhi of Daharam Pundarikam Veshma. But finally, one has to discard the Upadhi and directly cognize the Nirguna Brahma. Till the ready frame of mind is laid, this Dahara Upasana serves as a Upaya, means to gain the knowledge which prepares the mind. So after this, the Upasana is further described in the first 6 sections, or what are called as Khandas of chapter 8. But Vidyaranya Muni completely omits this Saguna Upasana portion in his Prajapati Vidya Prakasha, which we are going to study presently. Why does he do so? Because Vidyaranya Muni focuses his attention on the exposition of Chidrupa of Brahma, which is Nirguna in nature. So with this now we proceed with the Prajapati Vidya Prakasha. Take the first stanza. Prajapati Swatma Vidyam Chandogye Bahudha Bravi Virochanaya Chendraya Tam Vakshe Buddhaye. Anvaya. Prajapati Chandogye Virochanaya Cha Indraya Cha Indraya Svatma Vidyam Bahudha Abravi. Svatma Vidyam Bahudha Abravi Tam Sukha Buddhaye Vakshe. Tam Sukha Buddhaye Vakshe. Prajapati. So Prajapati can mean Virat or Hiranyagarbha or what we call as Brahmaji, one of the Trinity. As you know, the first manifestation of Ishvara in terms of creation is Hiranyagarbha. But Hiranyagarbha is only in Sukshma Sharira form in subtle body. Hiranyagarbha by itself doesn't have a gross body. So that gross body that is created afterwards is Virat Sharira. So Virat Sharira comprises the entire gross world, including our embodiment. Just as Hiranyagarbha constitutes of all subtle bodies, including our subtle body. So in Virat, there are three prominent manifestations. They are the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Out of these three, they say the embodiment of Brahma is the one which is made use by Hiranyagarbha to have the bhoga, the experience of the Virat. So from that standpoint, Prajapati, here we can take from the Puranic sense the Brahmaji, the one of the Trinity, and here also their Samsada, the royal assembly is involved. It has to be that of Brahma, the Brahmaji himself. So this Prajapati, Brahma, you should know distinction between Brahma and Brahma. Brahma is nominative singular of Brahma, Brahman, substantive in masculine gender, and Brahman in neuter gender, nominative singular becomes Brahma, that is the Chaitanya Swarupa, Atma Swarupa, Brahma. So in Sanskrit there is no problem. Brahma means all pervasive Chaitanya, whereas Brahma means one of the Trinity, what we call for convenience as Brahmaji. This Prajapati, so what did he teach? Chandogye is teaching that is found in Chandogya Upanishad. Virochanaya cha Indraya. To these two students, one is Virochana, the king of Asuras. Other one is Indra, the king of Devas. To these students, Virochana cha Indraya. What did he teach? Swatma Vidyam Abravi. He taught. Abravi told me he taught Swatma Vidya, the Vidya, the knowledge of one's own Swarupa, one's own true nature, Atma. So how did he teach? Bahudha abravi. Bahudha, in manifold ways, from different standpoints. So Bahudha abravi. And that teaching, Svatma Vidya, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, Vidyaranya Muni now says that I am going to elaborate here. Tam, that one. What is that? Svatma Vidya, that Atma Vidya. And which Atma Vidya? As taught by Prajapati to Virochana and Indra. Tam, Sukha Buddhaye Vakshe. Vakshe, I am going to tell you now. I am going to teach you. I am going to elaborate now. Well, why should you tell? It is already there in the Chandogya Upanishad. That is true. It is in the Chandogya Upanishad. But Upanishad being what it is, being little difficult and being elaborate, so many mantras are involved, it may not be very easy for all to understand, and therefore for their convenience and for their proper understanding, Sukha Buddhaye, for an easy understanding without any difficulties whatsoever. So Vakshe, I am going to now teach you, I am going to elaborate that Svatma Vidya, Atma Vidya, as taught by Prajapati to Virochana and Indra in Chandogya Upanishad, 8th chapter. So the question comes, Indra and Virochana were kings ruling in luxury. Generally, for a person who is accustomed to luxuries and the riches, Vairagya is difficult to discover. Without Vairagya, Atma Vidya is not possible. So the question arises, how is it that Indra and Virochana got interested in gaining the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya? So there is an incidence. So what is it? Let us see now. That is the reason why this Indra and Virochana got interested in Atma Vidya. Once Prajapati in his royal assembly had remarked something. The highest accomplishment of life can be gained in this way. That is what he had remarked. The news reached to Asuras and Devas. And of course, everyone would like to accomplish the best, accomplish the highest. So from that standpoint, they got interested. So what was the statement of Prajapati will be seen now in this forthcoming style. Asamsaryayamaatmasau anveshtavyo mumukshuna Prajapatiriti praha prasangena svasansadi. First, see the sandhi breaking. Asamsari ayam atma asau anveshtavya. Asamsari ayam atma asau anveshtavya. Now take the anvaya. Ayam atma asamsari mumukshuna asau anveshtavya. Mumukshuna asau anveshtavya. Iti Prajapatihi स्वसंसदि प्रसंगेन प्राह इति प्रजापतिः स्वसंसदि प्रसंगेन प्राह अयम आत्मा. This atma means the atma, the I, which is our true nature, verily our nature. So ayam atma. What is nature? Asamsari, free from samsara. What is samsara? Happiness or sorrow or combination of both. You may say combination of both, true, to begin with. But finally, it is more sorrow than happiness. Only one marana is enough. The fear of death itself is enough to make the person sorrowful all along. So therefore, this janma marana rupa samsara, which is nothing but dukkha only, even though sukha may come in between at the cost of much more dukkha. So therefore, this atma is this is what is called samsara. But this atma is what he says, a samsari, free from sorrows of samsara. You may say this is quite contrary to our own experience. Moment by moment we are experiencing sorrow. Yes, joy, happiness may be rare. That is true. That is because of our mistake of not cognizing or knowing directly our Swarupa Atma and mistaking ourselves to be Anatma. Whatever that is not I is mistaken as I, and sorrow which totally belongs to Anatma, which is not I, is mistaken as the very intrinsic feature of our Swarupa. So therefore, here the truth is revealed. I am Atma. This Atma is a samsari, free from samsara. And therefore, what should be done? Mumukshu. By a mumukshu. Moktum ichchuhu mumukshuhu. So one who is desirous of getting rid of this sorrow of samsara, who is intent on totally getting freed from even the least trace of sorrow. So mumukshuna, by mumukshu, what should be done? Asau, this Atma. What Atma? The asamsari Atma which is totally free from sorrow. The Atma whose Swarupa, true nature is nothing but Paramananda. So that Atma, Anveshtavyaha, to be sought, to be investigated. Iti, so thus Prajapatihi, this Prajapati, Brahmaji, Swasamsadi, in his own royal assembly, Prasangena Praha. Prasangena, in some context, perhaps, there may be many sages, etc., and many among the audience, and some discussion about the Atma Sarupa or some samsara must have been going on, and in that context, Prasangena, in some context, we don't know what it was, but Prajapati remarked like this, that this Atma, whose Swarupa is free from samsara, should be discovered by all mumukshus. Why mumukshus only? Why not others? It is applicable to others also, but others are not available to gain this knowledge. Mumukshu is a mature person who has got Viveka Vairagya and who is intent on discovering the highest truth about oneself, which can make him totally released from the bondage or the sorrows of samsara. Now, What was that statement which enticed Virochana and Indra to gain this knowledge? The statement is in 871 Chandogya mantra, 7th section of 8th chapter, first mantra. It reads like this: Ya Atma अपहत पाप्मा विजरः विमृत्युः विशोकः विजिघत्सः अपिपासः सत्यकामः सत्यसंकल्पः etc. So this is in 871. Of course, it appears in 815 also in other contexts. So this Atma, what type of Atma? Of course, each and every word will be explained by Vidyaranya Muni. But roughly we can see Apahata Papma, the one who is free from Papma. Here Papma refers to Punya and Papa, Dharma and Adharma. So one who is free from Papa and Punya, Vijaraha, free from old age, Vimrutyuhu, free from death, Vishokaha, devoid of sorrows, Vijighatsaha, Gatsa means shook, hunger. Vijighatsaha means one who has no hunger, free from hunger. Apipasaha, free from thirst. Satyakamaha, the one whose kama desire is not going to be in vain, whose desires are not futile but come true. Satyakamaha. Then Satyasankalpaha, the one whose volition, consideration holds good, comes true. So the Atma of such nature, of course these words will be explained one by one. So the one who has got the knowledge of this Atma is totally free from samsara, because Atma itself is a samsari. So the meaning and import of this statement of Prajapati will be elaborated in the forthcoming stanzas. Yo nishpapo jaro mrityu shoka kshutrud vivarjitaha satyosya kamas sankalpaha cha samsari sa ishvaraha. First line as it is, Anvaya. Yaha nishpapaha ajaraha mrityu shoka kshutrud vivarjitaha. One phrase. Mrityu shoka kshutrud vivarjitaha. Asya kamaha satyaha sankalpaha cha saha asamsari ishvaraha. Saha asamsari ishvaraha. The one who is like this. Yaha nishpapaha, the one who is free from papa means papa, punya, dharma, adharma. What is the great thing in being free from papa, punya? Papa, punya are the causes for future birth, the transmigration. The one who is totally free from papa, punya cannot get subjected to janma marana rupa samsara. Nishpapaha. Ajaraha, the one who is free from jara, the old age. Old age comes when you have got a body. Because so long as the body is there, sorrow is inevitable, and it is more so in the old age. From that standpoint, ajaraha, free from old age. Again, it is free from mrityu, death, shoka, sorrow, kshut, hunger, trut, free from upadhi, free from embodiment, and therefore not at all the doer. So that being the case, katham papavan bhave. How come the Atma be papi, means one who gets attached with the papa, or punya means is a kaku prayoga. Certainly Atma cannot be papavan. So papa punya cannot get attached to Atma. So therefore Atma is called as, described as apahata Atma. How Atma is vijaraha vimrityu, let us see. Whom do the janma and marana, jara is old age. Whom do the old age and death belong? Jara mrityu deha dharma vidyate. Jara, old age, mrityu, death. These are the dharma, the characteristic feature of deha. So these are the two characteristic features. Other features are there, but jara mrityu stands for all the shadvikaras belonging to the body from the birth onwards. So deha dharma, these are the characteristic features of deha. Now Atma doesn't have body. Who has got the body is subject to jara, mrityu. Atma is asharira, so therefore tataha, chitaha, no, chitaha, that is jara, mrityu, chitaha, no staha. So Chaitanya Rupa, Atma, doesn't have the old age and death. So why? Atma is ashariraha, free from embodiment. Further, Atma is free from shoka, vishoka, free from hunger and thirst, vijigatsaha, apipasaha. How is it so? Let us see. Shokasyan manaso dharmaha kshutashmi pranage ubhe chidrupasyatmano naiva santi shokadayastrayah. Anvaya shokaha manasaha dharmaha syat. Syat manasaha by sandhi becomes syan manasaha. Shokaha manasaha dharmaha syat. Kshut trishni ubhe pranage add bhavataha. Ubhe pranage bhavataha. Drupasya atmanaha shokadayaha trayaha na eva santi. Na eva santi. Shokaha manasaha dharmaha syat. Shoka, sorrow, is the feature, dharma of the mind. We know very well, we can verify also that sorrow belongs to the mind. That is why in the waking and the dream, when the mind is operating, we are prone to be sorrowful. Whereas in deep sleep state, when the mind is dormant, the mind is merged in its immediate cause, the ajnana, there is no trace of sorrow. So therefore it is pointed out, sorrow is the feature of mind, whereas kshut, trishni, kshut, hunger, trishna, the thirst, these two, ubhe, both of these, pranage bhavataha, they belong to the pranas, the vital airs in the body. So hunger, thirst are the functions of body, not body, are functions of prana, and therefore pranage bhavataha. So now, as we know well, Chaitanya is free from mind, free from prana, which is and which itself is Atma. Chinmatraha Atma. Atma, which is Chaitanya, is free from mind and free from prana. Therefore, the features of mind and prana, namely shoka, hunger and thirst, cannot belong to Atma. So therefore, Chidrupasya Atmanaha. In the case of Atma, for Atma, who is nothing but Chaitanya Swarupa, Shokadayaha Trayaha, these three, Shoka, sorrow, Adi for Kshut, hunger, and Pipasa, thirst, these three, Naiva Santi, they never belong to Atma. They cannot be the features of Atma. There, in the place of Trayaha, there is an alternate reading, Tataha. So, if you take Tataha, it gives the reason. Chidrupasya Atma Tataha. Tataha because Atma being nothing but Chidrupa, free from mind and free from prana. These three, Shoka, sorrow, hunger and thirst, cannot get attached, cannot belong to Atma, they cannot be the features of Atma. And yet, if we feel that we have sorrows, we have hunger, we have thirst, it is obvious that we have identified with the mana, prana, and take the features of mana and prana as our own feature, and that is how we suffer the sorrows of samsara. This Atma is Satyakamaha, Satyasankalpaha. So this is explained in stanza 6 and 7. Stanza 6 explains how Atma is Satyakamaha. Stanza 7 explains how is Satyasankalpaha. Now here a question can arise. You say Atma is Satyakama, in the sense the kama, the desires of Atma are Satya, true, they hold good. But the question is, Atma, as we have seen, is free from mana, antakarna. How can Atma entertain the desires? How is it possible? So that also needs to be explained or answered. So Vidyaranya Muni explains that, and what type of desires are possible on account of what factor. So, and from what standpoint, we'll see now. Chinmatrasyapyasti maya kama sankalpakari Srakshami jagadityadi kama maya vinostihi. Anvaya Chinmatrasya api kama sankalpakarini maya asti. Chinmatrasyapi kama sankalpakarini maya asti. Maya vinaha जगत स्रक्ष्यामि इत्यादि कामः अस्ति हि मायाविनः जगत स्रक्ष्यामि इत्यादि कामः अस्ति हि. Chinmatrasya Atma, who is nothing but only Chaitanya, free from upadhis. So there is some factor because of which desires do come in picture. What is that and what type of Maya asti? So Chaitanya Swarupa Atma, from the standpoint of creation as Ishvara, does wield the Maya power, the creative power called Maya, and it has got the feature of entertaining desires, Kama Sankalkarini, with that Maya which can bring in picture Kama and Sankalpa. So that being the case, though Atma Nirupadhika, from the standpoint of creation as Ishvara, does wield the Maya power, as a result, Atma is capable of entertaining both Kama and Sankalpa. So Kama Sankalpa Karini, Karini, the one which produces the Kama and Sankalpa. So then, Atma as Ishvara, what type of desires Atma has got or Ishvara has got? They are of such type. Maya Vinaha, Maya Vinaha, for the Ishvara, in the case of Ishvara. See, Atma Brahma wielding the Maya is Ishvara. The same Atma Brahma wielding Avidya, ignorance, is Jiva. As Ishvara, Atma Brahma is the controller of the Jagat, whereas as Jiva, the same Atma Brahma as Jiva gets persecuted by the Jagat, suffering samsara. So Maya Vinaha means Ishvarasya, for Ishvara. In the case of Ishvara, Jagat Srakshami, I shall create the Jagat. So Bahusyam Prajayeti, let me become many and create the Jagat. So Jagat Srakshami, I shall create the Jagat. Ityadi Kamaha, such this and similar that. Similar Adi means like let me sustain the Jagat. And when the karma phalas of the all jivas have exhausted for the particular kalpa, let me dissolve the Jagat, let me destroy the Jagat, like Srishti, Sthiti and Laya. These kama, these desires do surface. So ityadi kamaha astihi, astihi, they are there, he for prasiddhi, for shruti. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti satapot sapyata satapastaptva idagam sarvam asrujata. Like that we find many shruti quotations, and that is indicated by the word he. So prasiddhi, it is so told in many places of shruti. So this way Atma as Ishvara is Satyakamaha. So Satyakamaha. Now here one thing should be kept in mind. Satya means Trikala Abadhita Vastu. Is it that desires of Atma or Sankalpa of Atma are Satya true in this sense? No. They have only Vyavaharika Satyatva. They have only transactional reality and not the absolute reality. Why? because this kama and sankalpa in the case of Atma as Ishvara are the product of Maya, and Maya itself is false in nature, and the product of Maya, the Maya karya kama and sankalpa also should necessarily be false in nature. They cannot be true, and they have only vyavaharika satyatva. So this will be clear from the next stanza. Akashadi padarthastu yatha purvam bhavantviha sankalposti tato jneyaha, not jneyaha, sankalposti tato jneya vyavaharika satyata. Sankalposti tato jneya vyavaharika satyata. Anvaya. Akashadi padarthaha tu yatha purvam iha bhavantu. Add iti. Bhavantu iha by sandhi has become bhavantviha. Akashadi padarthaha tu yatha purvam iha bhavantu. Add iti sankalpaha asti tataha vyavaharika satyata neya. Tataha vyavaharika satyata neya. In earlier stanza 6 we had seen the kama, satya kamatva of Atma. So what is the desire that is entertained by Atma as Ishvara we had seen now? What is that sankalpa? So that Atma does as Ishvara, of course. Akashadi padarthaha tu. All these panchamahabhutas, Akashadi, space, air, fire, water, earth, and whatever that is born of them. So elements and elementals. Bhuta, bhautika, jagat. Akashadi padarthaha tu yatha purvam, as in the past creation, iha, here in this srishti, the creation, bhavantu, let them be born. Let the five elements and their products be born in this creation as in the past creation. Iti, so sankalpaha asti. So that is the sankalpa of Atma as Ishvara. So here we have to see Ishvara first creates the Hiranyagarbha, and it is the Hiranyagarbha who actually creates the entire Jagat by sankalpa. Here we have to see this word yatha purvam properly. Yatha purvam means as in the past creation. Generally it's considered like this. Hiranyagarbha recalled to his memory the past creation and accordingly created the Jagat. To this effect, a Shruti also is quoted like this. Of course, not from Chandogya, it is from elsewhere. Dhata yatha purvam akalpayat. Dhata, Hiranyagarbha. Yatha purvam, as in the past creation, past kalpa, akalpayat, projected the Jagat. But this doesn't mean